everyone to the Getting Started with the Platform I+ Interactive workshop. We're happy for you to be here today. We know the first school days are very tiring, and with this heat wave going on, it's even worse. So thank you for your time, and we hope we'll be able to answer all of your questions with this new platform. My name is Sophie Barassa. I'm one of your consultants for the English School Boards, and I'm accompanied by my colleague, Caroline Castonguay, who is also a consultant for the English School Boards.
Thanks, Sophie. Hello, everyone. I hope the back to school is going smoothly and that you're ready for a new school year. As Sophie was mentioning, we have an agenda pretty filled up today. So let's take a look at what we will be looking into. First of all, we are going to take a look at account transfer from the ERPI Space platform to the I+ Interactive platform. We will be as well looking at account creation and product activation. And most of our workshop today will be onto group management, how to actually create a student's account, and what tools are available to you onto the new platform to actually use within your classroom. As Sophie was mentioning, the workshop should last about 45 minutes or so. We will be keeping a couple of minutes at the end to answer any questions that you might still have, and the recording will be sent to you in the next couple of days by email. So if you want to share it with some of your colleagues that were unable to attend today, please do so, and let's get going. As I was mentioning, the ERPI Space moved to the I+ Interactive platform over the summer. So now to access all of your products, you need to go to the new address, which is iplusinteractive.ca. So if you want to put that into your favorites for your web navigator, that would be a great idea. As well, you'll see onto the login page at any time on the top right-hand corner, you can click on the help button with the interrogation mark, question mark, and you can reach our technical support team. They're going to be able to answer your questions that you might have. You can reach them by chat, by phone, or via a form that you can fill out. And what is super interesting is that if you give out as a homework product activation or account creation to your students may as well get in touch with the technical support team for any questions that they might have. All right. 3 scenarios may apply to you at this time and point in time. In regards to the old transfer of the ERPI Space platform onto the new platform, I want to take about 3 minutes or so to really cover those scenarios to make sure that you're up and running with your different accounts, and that if you had any products that were still valid in the ERPI Space platform, that it was transferred properly onto your new account. So the first scenario is that you had an ERPI Space account with some products still valid during the summer. And as well, you created an account on I+ Interactive just to get acquainted with the new technology and new way of working. You might have been with us in one of our workshops during the spring, and that's how you got to know that you could create an account onto that new space. If both of those accounts share the same email address as a username, then what we did is, if you had some still valid licenses, we transferred them automatically onto the new platform, the I+ Interactive platform. Now, to access those products, you would still need to use your password of the I+ Interactive platform. And if you're just like me during the summer, you might have forgotten your password, no worries. At all time, you can go onto the login page, so on iplusinteractive.ca, and then click on Forgot Your Password. It would be the same steps as well that your students would have to follow if they've forgotten their password over the summer, if they already had an account created or whatnot. All right. The second scenario that might apply to you is that you had a product still valid onto your ERPI Space, but you did not have an account created onto the iPlus Interactive before you left for summer vacation. So what we did is we created you an account automatically, and we sent you an email onto which you received most probably end of July, beginning of August, and it was asking you to actually create a password. Now, you might want to double check in your inboxes and as well perhaps in your junk mail. The email might have just gone into one of those mailbox of yours. Once you enter, you follow up the steps with that email and that you create your password, you're up and running to actually get into your digital library and your products. The third scenario, which is probably the scenario that does apply pretty much to everyone today, is that you did have an ERPI Space account, but all of your products expired during the summer, and or you are a new user of our products, then you need to create an iPlus Interactive account. And that's what we're going to take a look at in a few seconds. If none of those scenarios apply to you and you're having some issues, please get in touch with either the technical support team or with Sophie and I, and we'll gladly give you a hand with that. Before we go on to the account creation and the product activation, do we have any questions in regards to the transfer, Sophie?
No, no questions, Carolyn. Thanks.
Okay, good. So let's take a look at how to actually activate your code, your teacher's code. Before going out to summer vacation, you most probably gave out your choices of material to your administration, so which workbooks you wanted to work with, and as well all of the teachers' resources that you needed to get going for the new school year. Quick note about that, if you do buy a set of workbooks for your different classes, your different groups, you need to actually buy a teacher's digital access separately. It doesn't come automatically with your order. So if you've not received that, if for any reason your administration has forgotten to actually order a copy for you, then no worries, you can place an order right away, and you will be receiving the actual code by mail on a little cardboard that would look like this. And the actual code is present at the bottom right-hand corner of that little cardboard. Once you activate that code, we'll look at it in a few seconds. Please make sure that you write down the info on the cardboard. So your email address that you use to open up your account, that would be as well your username and your password as well. And if you can make a photocopy of that and give a copy to your administration, if for any reason you have to be absent for a long or a shorter period of time, then anyone that comes in and is a sub-in could definitely use your product and still go at it in regards to teaching the course that you're giving this year. So once you've gotten that code, what you need to do is you need to go, as we were mentioning earlier, to the iplusinteractive.ca onto your web navigator. It will open up a window. Since it's your first time, then you need to click on first time user, click on register. Once you've done that, a window will open up and we will be asking you to actually write your first name, last name, your email address. If you could please put your email address of your school board, that would be a lot easier, and it will allow us to make sure that it's a valid email. As well, password. The password needs to be at least 8 characters long. So at least within those 8 characters, 1 capital letter, 1 small letter, a number, and as well a special character. Could be an exclamation mark, could be a question mark as well. Once you've done that, you can just confirm your password and click on register. It's going to open up a window like this where you can put in your activation code. So that's the one that was at the bottom of your little cardboard that we just took a look at a few seconds ago. And then click on add. And that will bring you automatically to your digital library. So within your digital library, as you can see, I've got a few products. If for any reason you need to add a product within your library, it's super easy. You can just go on the top left-hand corner of your screen and then click on Add a Product, and a window will open up and will ask you to actually write down the activation code. As well, at any time, you can go on the top right-hand corner of your screen. Once you're in your digital library, you can click on the interrogation mark, sorry, the question mark, to actually access the support team or the technical support team. And you can as well click onto your profile to make changes in regards, for example, to your password. A last little thing that is super interesting is that below the actual cover of the workbook that you've got in your digital library, you can see now the expiration date. So you can see here, Worlds 2 will expire on May 4th, 2024. So that really is handy to make sure that you renew your licenses at a proper time in the year. All right. So before we actually go on to group management and students account and the different tools that are made available to you in the platform, do we have any questions, Sophie, in regards to how to create an account and how to activate the digital product for a teacher?
No, we have no question, but I just want to say that I've added in the Q&R a link to the price list. If ever your administration hasn't purchased your digital access, you can use that price list. The link is right there. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Sophie. So we are going to, I'm just going to bring you with me onto the platform. So iplusinteractive.ca. My login email is as follows, and I'll just write down my password, and then I just click on login. For today's sake, we will be using Worlds 1, which is the Science and Technology workbook for Secondary 1 or Grade 9. No, grade 7, sorry. It is the same structure for all of the other digital books that we have. Let there be Worlds 2, Observatory 3 or 4, or Time and Place as well. If you use any French edition, it's quite similar as well. So let's get into this. As you can see, it's super easy in regards to getting through the whole workbook and the different tools. Let's take a quick peek at how you can actually navigate within the digital library. So this is the opening page of the actual workbook itself. You can, by clicking on the workbook here, open the workbook. We'll get into that a bit later to show you the different tools. And you could at any time at the top left-hand corner, come back to that specific space. So with the little house, that brings us directly where we're at right now. If we go on to the little book here that's open up, again, still on the left-hand corner of the screen, that will bring you back at any time to the actual workbook itself. The little pochette like this, or the folder, will bring you to the content. The content is basically what you have on the right-hand side over here. So it would be your handouts that you're used to. So it's the exact same handouts that you had last year. So evaluations, any extra reproducibles will be found in that specific section. Same thing as last year, available in PDF, available in Words, and the answer keys as well of those reproducibles are found within that specific section. As well, interactive activities, we'll take a look at it in a few seconds. The students could do them at home, and you have a feedback on the results. The last thing is the group management. So if you look still on the left-hand corner of the screen, the three little persona over here, see, you find them here, and you find them on the right-hand side of the screen over here. So as mentioned, this is the group management tool or setting. So by clicking either on the right-hand side here or on the top left corner, that lets me the possibility of creating different groups. So let's take a sneak peek at how it actually works. As you can see, I already have a group that's called Group 2023 opened up and created. So I'll show you how to create a new one. If you go on the left-hand side of the actual page over here on the screen, you can see that there's a pick list. So if I open up this the pick list, sorry, and scroll down, I click on Add a Group. So if I click on Add a Group, I just need to name my group. So in this case, I would name it, for example, Group 101, and then I just click on Continue. Super easy. My group is created. As you can see, I have no students in my group per se. I would have a group code that's given out that I need to share with my students. And as well, that group number will be found at any time on the left-hand side of my screen at the bottom. So I do have group 101, access code 221794, which is the exact same as the one that we have on the screen in front of us right now. So that's interesting because you can just, if we go back on the left-hand side of the screen, with the pick list, you can move from one group to another. So if I go back to the group 2023, see the access group code will be different. So you need to make sure that you share the good access code to your good group. Okay. So if we go back to the one that I just created, as you can see, as I was mentioning, there's no students that have joined. So obviously in regards to the results on the left-hand side, I have no results shown so far. And on the left-hand side, I could switch up a couple of things in regards to that group. So if I click on Group Setting on the left-hand side with the little wheel, it allows me to change the name of the group or delete that group. So for example, if I made a mistake, I just want to start up over again. It's not group 101, it's something else. I can just change the name, or in this case, I'm just going to delete it. I'm going to show you with what it actually looks like once I've got some students that I've joined in. So if I click on my group 2023 list of students on the left-hand side, as you can see, I've got 7 students that I've joined in so far. So it's something that I've given out as a homework. I told my students, here's the procedure on how to create your account, how to join in the group with the access code that I shared to you. And now I'm awaiting for the rest of the class to join in. At any time and point, I could remove a student from my group. So on the right-hand side, just click on remove, and then it's going to ask me, do you really want to remove that student from your group? So I'm going to click cancel here, but if you want it out, you can just click on remove. Same thing. In this group, I know that Junior Deners has done his homework, so he has logged in because I see it here. And as well, I can go on the right-hand side, just beside the remove button. I can take a sneak peek at his results or the work that he's done. So far I can see that I've assigned the activity 1.1 in regards to chapter 1. I decided to make this as a learning mode, so apprentissage, and here's the result of Junior Lemers. I can see that he's actually done as well activity 1.2. That one has a kind of an orange dot. It's because I decided to make that activity as an evaluation. I'll show you in a few minutes how you can assign activities or digital interactive activities to your students and how you can change the mode in regards to either learning or evaluation. So I'm just going to close that up. So we've seen that you can get the results of one specific student. If you go on the left-hand side, just below the group, if I select results, then I get an overview of my group. So over here, I can see that for chapter 1, I've assigned 3 3 sections or 3 activities to my group 2023. And I can see that for 1.1, 3 students have done the activity. The average mark would be 6.7 out of 7, which is pretty good. And I could export those results. If I click on the number of students, for example, or just that specific section, I can get an overview more in detail of who really out of my 7 students have done the work. I can get the results as well, and I can get the status. So is it done or is it still to do? Okay. So I'm just going to close that up. Before I show you how to assign activities for the group management and how to create a group, Sophie, do we have any questions?
No questions, Caroline. Thank you.
Okay, good. Don't be shy. If you have any questions, you can stop us and we'll definitely answer them. So we've created a group right now. We've shared with the students the access code that they need to use to join in the virtual group. Let me just show you how you can actually assign some activities. So let's go back to our main page of the series. Remember, if you go on the top left-hand corner, you can come back at any time and point to your welcome page of the series itself, okay? And the documents that I want to share with my students would be the interactive activities. So let's take a look at it. These are the same interactive activities that you had access to last year. You'll see that you have interactive activities and My Workshop. My Workshop, we're going to take a quick look at it in a few seconds. Those would be the activities that you could yourself build up and share with your students. It's something that you would have to follow up with the framework that we have. But let's take a quick look right now into the interactive activities that we have available for you. So for each of the chapters, you will have an activity that would just retake some of the content that's been seen in the workbook and extra activities that you could give out as homework at home or that the kids could do as a review within the classroom. So for example, activity 1.4, temperature, it is linked to page 33 of our workbook. And if I go on the right-hand side over here, you can see that the activity is locked. That is different from last year. So it means that as soon as your students will create an account and activate their code, they won't have access to any of the interactive activities. You have the control over that, so you can decide when to assign those activities. So if I want to unlock it or assign it to a group, what I need to do as a teacher, I just need to go on the 3 little blue dots on the right-hand side over here, and then click on Assign. When I assign it, remember earlier on, I have kind of 2 modes that I could share the activities with my students, either learning mode or evaluation mode. For this one, I'll just go ahead with the learning mode. I can access or assign these activities to my specific group that I created, or if you want, if you click on the group, you could decide, for example, to select only a few students that you'd like to assign that activity to. You could as well click on the calendar to decide on the dates that you want made that available to them. So for this sake, I'm actually going to select the whole group and I'm going to save it. So see, activity 1.4 has been assigned, so it's not locked anymore, and it's been assigned as a learning activity. If we go back onto the assignment, you might have noticed as well that you've got the learning mode, the evaluation mode, And you've got as well the possibility of sharing the answers with your students. So you could do that as well. If once they've done it, you want to share the answers so that they can autocorrect themselves before the exam, it's something that you could do with them. A new thing as well, so once I've shared it, I can as well, by clicking on the three little dots, I could select the settings. That's new, or it's back. I could definitely set up the time, so the number of attempts that I want to give my students. So in this case, I'm going to select on. Automatically, it's 1 attempt, but see, you can move to 2 or 3 or 4 attempts. So that's something that's super interesting. You could put in a timer as well if you want. So from the time where the students actually open up the activity, you could set up and say, for example, you have a limit of 10 minutes to do the activity, and then it's just going to shut down and stop from there. So many little settings, new things that you can do with the interactive activities, and how you can actually share that with your students. Okay, so that's the way we can share the interactive activities or unlock them. You could as well, if we go back to our opening page, again, remember the little house, click on it. You could share some documents as well if you want. So if you click on handouts, if for any reasons you would like to share with your students the answer key of, for example, the diagnostic test, it's something that you could do. So the answer key in PDF, you could just click on the three little dots on the right-hand side and then share it with your group. Do we have any questions, Sophie, in regards to how to share or assign an activity or a document to a group or one specific student?
No, that was quite clear. Thank you, Carolyn.
Okay, good. Now, we've seen how to actually create your account as a teacher, how to actually create a group, how to assign activities. Let's see on the other side what the students need to do to actually get into your group and get going at the activities that you've assigned. Let me just switch this up. So your students will need to go to the exact same login page. That would be iplusinteractive.ca. In this case, same thing. They need to go at the bottom of the welcome page and click on register and go through the different steps of putting in their first name, last name, email. Once they've done that, they can just come back here and write down their email address and their password, and they will have access to their different series. That is interesting because this year, if you have any of your colleagues that do use either ERPI products from different grade levels or different disciplines, or either with Chenelière Éducation, your kids or your students will have access to all of their products within one digital library. So they wouldn't need to create one account for each of the courses or in each of the disciplines. So in this case, I've got quite a few products. These are all student products. As you can see, I've got the Worlds one as well. So I'm going to click on that. And this is what your students have access to. So they have access to the workbook itself. So if they've forgotten it at school, they can still have a look at it at home. So if we click on it like this, then they can just browse through, get access to their content. They could, even if they want, write in the workbook itself. They won't be able to print it out, but they could share that copy with you. I'll show you a bit later on how you can actually take a look at the answers that they've put in. So that is something that is quite interesting. As well, they would have to join your group. So in this case, I'm already set up into a group. I'll show you a section where, for example, Observatory 4, My student has activated his code, but hasn't joined a group yet. So he has access to the workbook, but can't do any of the interactive activities. That's where we were saying earlier on, it's locked, you've got the control. So to join the group, your student would just need to go on the right-hand side over here, click on join a group. And that is where they would put the group code that we've seen earlier on at the bottom of your screen. That's how they join your group. So that's pretty much it. The code should be present within the first pages of the workbook that your students have received. If you have not received that, or if there's not a sticker at the back of the workbook, please get in touch with one of us and we'll take a look at it and make sure that your kids are up and running and they have a code to be able to join in onto your group, and then you'll be able to actually assign activities to them. Okay. Do we have any questions, Sophie, on how a student can access his or hers digital version of the workbook and do the interactive activities?
I don't have any questions, but I just want to say that I did put in the Q&R the actual document on how to create an account and join a group that you can hand out to students for them to make it easier for them to do that procedure. And that's it. But I just want to say we're not going to be taking hand raising questions at this point, just at the end of the workshop. If you want to ask a question, you can use the Q&R right now, and I'll be happy to answer your question. Thank you.
So we're going to go back to the teacher's edition. Remember, I'm in my actual content or the handouts. If I want to go back to the entryway of the series that I'm working with, I just need to click on the left hand side of my screen on the little house, brings me back to where I want to go. So we have a few minutes left. I want to take you to the actual workbook itself and show you how to actually access the different tools. Before I do so, because I totally forgot, just want to show you a new feature as well. So we've seen the group management. You can create a workshop as well. So you could assign activities from the interactive activities already pre-made. You could create a workshop. I'll show you really quickly the possibilities. We're still ongoing some of the translation of the platform itself, so it should be fixed in the next couple of weeks. So how it actually works is that you could select a chapter. So for example, properties of matters. It's something that I want to build. So for example, an activity for a review before an exam. I'm going to name this, for example, I don't know, test review. And then I could just write a presentation of the workshop or the activity. So when the kids will open up, they will see that message. So for example, this is important. And then I click on to save. Then it's going to bring me to a section where I can create questions. So create questions over here, you add questions, and then you've got different frameworks being offered to you. So multiple choice, short answers, or true or false. Let's just take one, for example, true or false. You just click on continue. And then that's where you need to put in a bit of work. But once you've done that, you could share it with most of your students within your different groups. So this would be a question. I don't know. Do you like broccoli? Or that's not a true or false, but are stars all yellow? And then the answers would be true in this case. If I want to change the real answer, then I could just put false over here. And then you can test on the top right-hand corner the question itself, or you could just publish it. You could as well add a question, and that will bring you back to the settings that you had in regards to having a true or false or a multiple choice questions or whatnot. So if I just publish it like this, then when I go back, and I'm just going to go back to it, the interactive activities. these are the pre-made activities and these are my workshop. So I've created a few already. For example, state of matters, test review would be the one that we just did together. You can see that it's actually published, and I could, on the right-hand side, share it, assign it with all of my students if I want. So if I click on that, I could select the group that I want to share it. Same thing as the interactive activities, but these ones are the ones that I personally made. So if I click on state of matters, it gives you an idea of what the students will see. And that's where I was saying we are undergoing the translation. So for example, you've got here all of the info are in French. That will be fixed in the next couple of weeks. So if I click on débuter, there are two states of matters, vrai ou faux, that would be true or false. And then if I click on vrai, then the students can just click on soumettre and then move on. Again, that is just to let you know that is an option that's being offered, made available to you. Once we actually finish up the translation of it, we'll definitely get in touch with you and give you the news about it, and you'll be able to get up and running if you wish to create extra activities or workshop. Do you have a question, Sophie? Yeah, go ahead. Or a comment.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Well, no problem. While you're there, if you could go back and show the student textbook for observatory, for example. I think you're in Worlds right now, right? Oh, I'm sorry. If you can go into observatory. Yeah, show me the students. The teacher hasn't answered my question yet, but was wondering how to access the observatory Sec 3 textbook. So now you're in the student account?
I am in the student account.
Okay. So if you can just show her, there's the two ways that they can access the textbook, right?
Yeah, so that way over here, that would be the student's version of it. It's the student book. It's not the workbook in this case.
No, it's their textbook. And if I'm not mistaken, they can also access it while they're in their workbook if they want extra theory, right?
Yeah, for sure. Let me just double check. In the teacher's edition, it's easy. So in this case, see, it is the actual textbook itself. For the students to access the workbook, I'm most probably within a textbook edition and not a workbook edition. So that's what we're seeing right now. But let me just move on to the teacher's edition. I'll show you if we go back over here. If I'm in observatory, for example, it's a teacher's access.
Yeah.
See, you've got your student manual over here, and you've got access to your activity book. So you could navigate from one to another. Should be the same thing for your students as well.
If you could show them in the workbook itself on the let's say maybe page 2, when we start the theory, page, that's the page. As you can see, there's that green folder. And in the green folder, students can access the exact section that is in link with what they're studying in their workbook. So they could actually go right there. So there's two ways into the textbook, whether you're in the student account or a teacher's account. So I hope that answers the question that the teacher was asking me. Good. Thanks, Carol.
No, it's a good thing because it's exactly where I wanted to bring you. So let me just go back. We'll take secondary 4 observatory for this section. Whether it be Worlds or observatory, grade 3, 4, it's the same way of working. So once you want to get into the actual activity book, you can just click on open, and then that will bring you to the last page where you were at the last time that you open up your account as a teacher. This is a teacher's edition. So as you can see, you can just scroll down in regards to the material that you can project with your students. And you have different ways of getting around your workbook. The first one would be on the top right-hand corner where you can select the page. So for example, page 12. that is a section where I've got questions. I could as well decide to use the arrows on the side of my page over here. So on the left-hand side would be going to a prior page, and the one on the right-hand side would be to go to the next page. And as well on the left-hand side over here, I could just scroll away and then pick and choose the page where I really want to go. Okay, so right now it's pretty zoomed in. If I want to zoom out a bit, what I could do is just go at the bottom of my screen with the tools made available to me. And I'm just gonna go to the almost very last one where there's 4 arrows looking like a square. I'm just gonna make that into one full page. You could as well decide to have it just like this. So it's as you wish. You can have different options. You could as well, if you wish, zoom in. So if you go at the tools again at the bottom, you could decide to use what looks like a square in a magnifying glass with a plus. And then you can just select, for example, that specific section that you want to make bigger and zoom in with your zoom in and project it in the classroom. So I'm going to zoom back. I'm just going to click on the magnifying glass with a minus, and then it's going to bring me back to where I was at. If I want to share the answers, then if you go at the top of your page, you can see a scroll down menu over here. So I can select all answers here or one by one. If I select one by one, when I come onto a space where there should be an answer, then it just opens up. If I click back on it, then it's just going to disappear. And as Sophie was mentioning, that's a good page to actually take a look at it. But on the right-hand side, if you see a green folder like this, it means that there's an extra information document or activity that we propose that you use at that specific time. So I'm going to click on it like this and see it actually brings me to the student book. As a supplement, you could access the student book in this case. There are some pages where you won't find the green folder, and these information used to be placed in pretty much everywhere in the page where you had click-ons and whatnot. So we decided to put them at the bottom of the screen to make it a lot easier in regards to the folder. So we've taken a look at how to navigate with the different pages through the workbook, how to share or show answers. Once I've created a group, I can actually share answers with my students. So for example, if you've got a couple of students that are away or you wish for them to auto-correct themselves, if they've created an account, join in onto your group, you could share answers of that specific page to your specific group. In this case, since I'm in Observatory 4, I don't have a group created yet, so it won't allow me to share it, but if I did have a group, I'd be able to select it right away over here. Tools at the bottom of the screen, because we've got about 2 minutes left. Let me just take a quick look with you. You've got the pen here just beside the arrow at the bottom of the screen. You can select the color that you want, so you can just actually write in it. Your underliner, same thing, you can just select the color that you wish to use. You could just underline whatever you want within the text. What is interesting is that if you close your session and you come back later on, everything that you've put out will still be remaining onto that specific page. Same thing from one year to another as well. As long as you're using the same account, it should recognize that you've been using that material and you've done some changes to it. If we keep on going into the actual other tools, you've got a text box where you could enter text, a post-it, so a virtual post-it where you could just choose to perhaps go on color-coded. So you could decide that all of the yellow post-its would be a note for you to go back. And then see the post-it is over here. I can just bring it wherever I want onto my page. You could open up a Post-it, put it pink, and then that could be something that you've put into your own planning and you know it's something you want to share with your student, then you could do it that way. As well, the other thing that is interesting, once you've done some of the underlinement and whatnot, if you want to erase it, you can just see that eraser, which is new. You can click on it and then just select whichever section you want to erase. If you want to just hide it for a bit, you could just select on the left side of the eraser, the eye. That allows you to just make it disappear for a while, and if you click back on it, it's just gonna show again. Same thing if you want to really erase really quickly within the page, instead of just selecting the eraser, on the right hand side of it, you can just select the garbage bin and then select whichever annotation you want to erase. So pencil mark, highlighting, text that you've added or posted. So I'm gonna delete all of it, and that is up and running. So see, I had a Post-it over here, I had some running, it's out. You could personalize or customize your version of the digital access or the teacher's edition by using what we have here as a plus, not to be confused with the zoom in, which is just beside it. The plus allows you to actually add either a document, so a PDF, a Word, Excel. You could add as well a website, and you could add as well an audio note. For any reason you'd like to actually link to page 11, an audio note that you'd want to play, you've got a maximum of 3 minutes of recording that is being allowed. Everything that you put in here or you customize will be added on to the folder over here. So let's just try one. I'll just show you really quickly if I want to add a URL or a web page, so ERPI.com, and then I save it. If you take a look at the folder on the right hand side over here, the little number that used to be 1 is now 2. And then really quickly, when I'm on that page, if I open up the folder, I now have whatever used to be there. So the student book over here, and I have my add-ons as well, which have been added. It is the ERPI website over here. All right. Now, we've taken a look at pretty much all of the different tools made available to you. The last one that is super interesting would be the following. So as soon as you've created a group, and I'm going to switch to Worlds 1 for that one because I do have some students that have joined in onto my group for Worlds 1. Give me just 2 seconds. So we were in the workbook itself, and we are back to the toolbar menu at the bottom. So the last one is the, it looks like a book with a student. So if you click on it, it actually allows you to view the student's workbook. So remember earlier on, I had Junior Demers that was absent. I gave him page 7, for example, to do at home, and I want to see what he's done. So I click on Junior Demers, and I get automatically onto his copy. So if he's written down anything, I can just, by a move of the arrow over here, switch to the page and double check the answers that he's written down. And I could give out feedback that way. So that is interesting. It's a new feature that could be of interest this year if you've got some kids that are away as well. I think that pretty much wraps up the different tools available to you. We've taken a look on how to actually do the group management and how to actually get your students to join into your group. Do we have any questions, Sophie?
No, we don't have any questions for now.
Perfect. So I'm going to leave you the 2. Let me just get that page over here to our ERPI web page. Yeah.
Yes. So if you're looking for quick information, you have questions that you want to access the help desk for any reason, please go to our website or corporate website at ERPI.com. You can change the language of the website in the upper right-hand corner. So make it switch it to English. Click on secondary. Once you're on secondary, important information for you would be these 3 blocks. The first one being the training. So if you want to know if we're giving any training, you can certainly consult the website. I know you probably have received our invitation, so we try to send the invitation to make sure you're aware. Second, the second block would be purchase order and price list. So if your administration has not ordered your digital didactic sets, you can certainly refer them to this part of our website. Last but not least, on the right-hand corner, if you have students that need extra help, a text-to-speech synthesis, you can apply or fill out the document to receive the PDF interactive copy for those students by clicking on that section. At the bottom of the same page in the secondary level, on the left-hand side, again, contact us. If your administration needs to speak to somebody at customer service, they can do so for follow-up on billing, invoice, or orders. Technical support, as Caroline was showing you, you can reach them with the question mark on the upper right-hand corner once you're on the platform, or right there in the middle with technical support. And again, if you're looking for your consultant, you can click on Find a Sales Consultant. As for now, Carolyn and I are pretty much taking over all the English School Board, but we will have changes coming along in a few weeks, so you may want to check again. If ever you write to one of us and we're not the ones taking care of your school board anymore, we certainly will refer you to the correct consultant. Okay, so is there anything? Oh, yes. If you click on Help also, and you bring your mouse to I+ Interactive Secondary, a few little things here in Need Help with I+ Interactive. The first sentence is really to reach technical support. The second one is to watch video tutorials. You can click there. Or if you want to download that link I gave you in the Q&R, which you can either send by email to your students or share it with your team, your team account with your students on how for them on how to open an account and join your class or your group. That's the document you can give them. Of course, you'll have to give them the group code that they need to join with that document. So that's pretty much it, I believe, Carolyn. So for those who do not have any questions for us, I see we have hands that are raised, so please stay behind. If you don't have any questions, well, we wish you, Carolyn and I wish you a great school year. And if ever you do have questions during the year, please do not hesitate to contact us at any time. We're usually pretty quick on answering back, quicker on email than we are on the phone. But we are quick enough, and we can certainly answer you as fast as we can. So have a great school year, and if you have any questions, please stay behind with us. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.